Welcome back to 30-Second Basketball, where we go over the most important games from around the association and recap them in around 30 seconds. Let's get started. The first game of the night was when the Bucks visited the Detroit Pistons in the Little Caesars Arena. Milwaukee had a chance to basically secure the second seed in the East last night, and they did just that as they beat the Pistons 131-101. Once again, the Bucks were led by Giannis as he had 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 8 assists in a near triple-double. For Detroit, their highest scorer was Rodney McGruder off the bench as he had 26 points on 9 of 11 shooting. Saddiq Bey also had 20 points, but it wasn't near close enough to grab a win over the defending champs. The Bucks will now be in Cleveland tomorrow night, and the Pistons will be in Philadelphia tomorrow night. The Nets got a crucial win over the Cleveland Cavaliers last night as they beat them 118-107 to take over the 7th seed in the East. If they remain the 7th seed, the Nets will host a play-in game, and they have to win just once to make the playoffs. Kevin Durant led the way for Brooklyn as he had another monster game with 36 points and made 4 of 6 3-pointers. Darius Garland for the Cavaliers had a good night with 31 points on 50-50-100 shooting, but it wasn't enough to overcome KD's Nets. Kyrie, however, did not have a great game as he just had 18 points on 7 of 22 shooting. The Nets will now host the Pacers tomorrow night, and the Cavaliers will host the Bucks tomorrow night. The Raptors clinched at least the 5th seed last night as they beat the Houston Rockets 117-115. The Raptors were missing all-star guard Fred VanVleet, but it wouldn't matter as Pascal Siakam and Gary Trent Jr. combined for 55 points with 29 and 26 respectively. The Rockets got a fantastic game from Kevin Porter Jr. as he dropped 35 points on 12 of 23 shooting, but Houston fell just 2 points short in Toronto. The Raptors now sit 3 games above the 6th-seeded Bulls and 1.5 games behind the 4th-seeded 76ers. Tomorrow will now be in New York tomorrow night to face the Knicks, and the Rockets will host Atlanta tomorrow night. The Hawks rolled into the FTX Arena last night to take on the Miami Heat. For the Heat, this game is pretty much meaningless as they already have the number 1 seed in the East locked up, but they would make the Hawks' job harder as Miami would win 113-109. This puts the Hawks in 9th place in the East to tie the 10th place Hornets. For the Hawks, of course, it was Trae Young exploding for 35 points on 12 of 23 shooting. He also got help from Bogdan Bogdanovic as he also had 25 points. Collective scoring is what the Heat do, however, to win games, and that was no different last night as Bam Adebayo had 24 points and Jimmy Butler had 20. Miami will now be in Orlando tomorrow night, and the Hawks will be in Houston tomorrow night. A high-scoring game took place in the United Center last night as the Bulls, who were losers of 3 straight, try to get back on track versus the Hornets. Instead, the Bulls would drop their 4th straight on their home floor as Charlotte took a 133-117 victory. The Hornets had 7 players in double figures for scoring, but their top scorers were LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges with 24 and 20 respectively. Zach LaVine for the Bulls tried to help them pull out a much-needed win with 24 points, but it wasn't enough at all to beat Charlotte. This loss for the Bulls cements them as the 6th seed in the East, and the Hornets are now tied in 10th place with the 9th-seeded Atlanta Hawks. The Hornets will now host Washington tomorrow night, and the Bulls will visit the Timberwolves tomorrow night.